وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we've been looking at taqwa and this idea of the people of taqwa. Another qa'idah or principle in the Qur'an is the idea of tayyib or goodness, tayyib. And the opposite of what is tayyib is called khubth or khabith. So you have at-tayyibun and then you have the khubatha. The tayyibun are the people of taqwa. These are the people that have trained their souls, disciplined their souls to be good. Inna Allaha tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyiba. Allah is pure and good, and He only accepts the pure and the good. So this is a very important quality in the Qur'an. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ لَا يَسْتَوِي الْخَبِيثُ وَالطَّيِّبُ. They're not equal, the khabith to the tayyib. They're not equal, the foul to the pure. They're not equal, the polluted to the pure. And so this is a very important principle in the Qur'an, that the at-tayyibun lit-tayyibat, pure people, pure men for pure women. And so pureness is a quality that can be found in anything. You can have pure water, you can have polluted water, you can have pure money, which is money that was earned through halal means. You can have impure money, which is money which was earned through haram means. So understanding what purity is very important, and this is one of the things that Muslims are working on themselves, to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through getting pure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَجْعَلَ الْخَبِيثَ بَعْضُهُ عَلَى بَعْضٍ فَيَرْكُمُهُ جَمِيعًا فَيَجْعَلْهُ فِي جَهَنَّمْ. That Allah will have the khabith, that some of it on others, so it piles up. فَيَرْكُمُهُ means it piles up all together, and then He puts it into the hell. So the khabith is headed to hell, the tayyib is headed to paradise. So this is something really important to remember, that we want to be tayyib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He says, قُلْ لَا يَسْتَوِي الْخَبِيثُ وَالطَّيِّبُ, then He says, وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكَ كَثْرَةُ الْخَبِيثِ. Even if you are impressed by so much of the foulness, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ يَا أُولَى الْأَلْبَابِ. Have taqwa, O people of innermost understanding, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. This ayah in Al-Ma'idah is reminding us that khabith is not the same as tayyib. Taqwa is not the same as its opposite, which is a state of disobedience to Allah. But then it says, وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكَ كَثْرَةُ الْخَبِيثِ. Even if you're impressed with so much of the khabith, because when you look out in the world, you'll see all of this khabith and it seems to be flourishing. Don't be impressed by it. So you see, if you want a successful television program today, it has to be foul. You can't have a pure television program. That's how you're going to have success in the dunya, but not in the akhirah. If you look at people now, that its foulness is what seems to charm other people. Pure people, tayyib people, now are looked on as, what's wrong with you? Get with the program. Why aren't you drinking? Why are you dressing modestly? Because to dress immodestly is khubth. To dress modestly is taybuba. It's something that reflects purity. And so that's what the Qur'an is saying. And then it says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. This is like there was a airplane crash that happened several years ago. And there was a Syrian family that when they were getting on the plane, they were demanding that this woman take off her hijab. And she refused. And the family she said, I do this for God. I'm not going to take off my hijab. It was for identification. And she wouldn't do it. And then she ended up not getting on the plane with her whole family. The plane went down. There was a woman who was adhering to a principle And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded her with that adherence. It doesn't mean that good people don't die in airplane crashes. They do. That can happen. But that's an example of somebody who adhered to something, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed her that reality. And we will find that very often in our lives, that when we adhere to these principles, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you, will reveal to you the blessings of adhering to those principles. And so we shouldn't be fooled by this. Another verse in the Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِّن ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. So that whoever does a good deed, whether a male or a female, whoever acts righteously, whether they're male, مِن ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ, and they have belief. In other words, they're doing it because they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching them, is aware of them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَنَحْيَنَّهُمْ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. We will cause them to live a tayyib life, a pure life. In other words, when you act according to taqwa, when you act according to these principles, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you a good life. These are axiomatic truths that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised His people. And so another thing, الَّذِينَ تَتَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ طَيِّبِينَ, that there's people that the angels, when they cause them to die, these are the people that are tayyibin, and these are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect. Another important aspect of this concept in the Qur'an of tayyib is food. And we often don't think about this, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ كُلُوا مِمَّا فِي الْأَرْضِ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطْوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Eat of the good things, halal and tayyiba, these halal things and tayyib, pure things. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطْوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ, or خُطْوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Don't follow the progress of shaitan. If you want to understand Iblis is a progressive. Iblis is not a conservative. Iblis is always changing the posts. He's always moving them a little bit further. So now he's telling you that marriage, here, what's wrong with intimacy outside of marriage? If it's two people that love each other, they agree on it, and then move it to the next stage, what's coming next are things like in Germany, incest, making permitted incest. This is what shaitan does. He takes people progressively. He doesn't take them. Whereas what we're trying to do is conserve the best of the past. We don't want to conserve the negative aspects of the past. Racism was something in many places in the past. It still exists today. That's not something you want to conserve. But family, you want to conserve family. Shaitan wants to destroy family. Marriage, you want to conserve family. Shaitan wants to destroy family. And so he takes people by progression. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us to eat these pure things, halal and tayyiba. And this is very important to understand, that food can be halal but not tayyib. So for instance, there's a lot of food now that is actually harmful for you. Much of the chicken that's raised, people eat a lot of chicken. If you look how the chickens are raised, if you look what they're being fed, if you look at the hormones that are being put in them, these things all affect people. The other thing, that if you eat good, then you will do good. It's the nature. When you eat tayyib, your actions will be tayyib. If you eat khabith, your actions will be khabith. If you eat good, your actions will be good. If you eat foul, your actions will be foul. So there's a direct relationship between the caloric energy that you derive from food and how that caloric energy is used in your actions. If that caloric energy is derived from halal and tayyib sources, pure and permitted sources, then what you will do will be pure and permitted. If it's derived from khabith and haram sources, in other words, prohibited and foul sources, then what you're going to do is prohibited and foul. This is axiomatic. And so it's very important to do this. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the messengers, Ya ayyuhar rusulu kulu min at-tayyibati wa'malu saliha. Eat from the pure things and do righteous actions. Inni bima ta'maluna alim. That I am completely aware of what you're doing in Surah Al-Mu'minun. So that's a good example of the direct correlation between what you eat and what you do. And this is to the messengers. Ya ayyuhar rusul, O you messengers, right? Kulu min at-tayyibati. Eat from the pure things. Wa'malu saliha. And do good things. In other words, it's axiomatic that if you eat pure, you will do pure. If you eat foul, you'll do foul. So food is extremely important to watch what you're eating. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.